Chat! Exposing the Gambling Epidemic by Mr. Coffeezilla. Love this guy. Amazing work. Chat, how many of you guys gamble? I've watched people gamble on Twitch and Kick. Lots of people gambling. A lot of celebrity sponsors, normie sponsors. By the way, gambling on waifus is also does count. Yes, do gachas count? Yes, yes they do, because you're spending real money. It counts.
Gambling has changed.
Gambling!
It used to be you'd lose your money on slots in Vegas, but today, not only can you do that, you can also bet on your favorite sports team.
Oh boy.
On this individual pitch, or on all three in a parlay. You can do it from your phone, your tablet.
Dude, the fact that I know what a parlay is kind of insane. I don't think I would have known that 5 years ago. It's really popped off.
Your Apple Watch. You don't just have to gamble on sports, you can gamble on esports, on video game items, on slots with those items. You can do it in Roblox, or on regular stocks, on meme stocks, gamble with calls, gamble on earning calls, gamble on calls with earning calls. You can gamble on political events, world events. You can bet if Zelensky's gonna wear a suit before July of Jerome.
You can bet on everything.
I was
What?
gonna say inflation, 50 or 50 times in
Inflation?
September. You don't just have to gamble on that. You can gamble on crypto coins, Trump coin, Dogecoin, Fartcoin. You can gamble on the champion of Fartcoin coin, and you can gamble on any of the posts the champion of Fartcoin has ever made on whether they will become popular or not.
But is it gambling if you're just gambling on something that doesn't exist?
And if
I don't know,
none of that's your cup
man.
of tea, you can also just gamble directly within your banking app on a game of
What?
roulette, like a gentleman. And don't even get me started on the ads. You turn on sports, esports, podcasts.
Oh,
Not
yeah.
even my favorite political show is safe.
Shout out to Prize Picks.
Wait, is that Netanyahu? They put a gambling ad next to the president? What the hell? It's gotten that far?
The best app to fire on sports in the game.
You will be
Bro.
bombarded with gambling ads by every famous person you've ever heard of.
Oh my god, it's Post Malone.
DraftKings.
DraftKings!
DraftKings Sportsbook.
DraftKings Sportsbook.
Uh-oh.
All the famous podcasters and comedians are all sponsored.
Did we get here? And is it a good thing that we're turning
Money.
every spare moment of our lives into a game of chance? I'm betting no.
I would honestly, hear me out. I think that gambling has been around for so long. It's just that it's become so easily accessible. Like, if you were a caveman back in the day and you wanted to gamble on, like, say, I don't know, is the sun gonna come out today? Like, you don't know that. You're gonna gamble, right? So you gamble, like, 2 berries. You have to actually go out there and find someone that is willing to gamble against you. So it's harder to gamble in that sense because it's not as accessible. You have to go outside, or like, yeah, I bet 2 lightning strikes will happen tonight. Maybe lady will show me booba tonight. Yeah, you gamble a mammoth steak. You have to get the mammoth steak, but whereas with money or crypto, which is like easily accessible and you can gamble the virtual currency, it's a lot easier to get into gambling nowadays. It's an accessibility thing. 500 on berry. Yep. I want 10 berries. Wow, what an intro. The gamblification of America.
There are 3 things responsible for gambling becoming more mainstream, but the first and biggest trend is simply the mainstream becoming more like gambling. See, Silicon Valley learned a decade ago that gambling mechanics are incredibly good for user retention, so they put them everywhere.
EA was the first person, or the first company, with the CEO being the first person joking about gambling and spending money on ammo in a shooter game. They saw that success and they were like, how do we make that possible in our company?
Let's say you're shopping online. Well, now you can spin a wheel to unlock prizes. Or if you're playing video games, you open a loot box, get some
CS:GO.
randomized items. You can
Didn't Steam like completely ruin the value of gambling like last week? People were losing their fucking minds. I remember on Twitter, some guy was like, I lost everything. I woke up. Now I want to blow myself up. I'm getting a rope.
And use those items as
I
virtual
saw
currency
that.
in a casino we've made a 3-part series about. Or maybe you don't have a problem with loot boxes for adults, but we've also put them in kids' video games because, you know, gotta start them young. Roblox is the largest
Oh my
game for
Lord.
minors, and they are stuffed with randomized loot boxes. But even if that...
One of my neighbors said that his kids, like, knowingly or without his knowledge, spent like $50 on gambling on Roblox, and he got really, really mad at them and taught them a lesson. I forget what the lesson was, but like he basically punished them and said you're not allowed to like ask for money for like 3 months. You gotta get them early. Yes! And I was like, yeah, that sounds predatory, but it is what it is. Get the belt.
It's fine for you. What about the third-party websites which against TOS allow
got
full
belted
gambling
sometimes.
based on a kid's game? And yes, there are actual kids gambling on these apps.
Right, I just won a bit of profit there. I had 200 Robux. No, I had
200 Robux. How much is that?
100 Robux in profit, 100 Robux in profit. But I lost them. But I had 50 Robux and I lost it, and I thought I got 50 Robux again. So on this, mine's on Robux World. What I'm gonna do is buy 40 crates now. No, not 40 crates, but like like 44 crates. That looks good. That's good.
He's gambling. Look at him. Look at him.
Let's go.
Holy shit.
Let's go. We're in profit.
Chat, you want to know where I hear we're in profit? I hear that from fully grown men doing gambling streams, like XQC, train wrecks, like all those people that gamble, and then they say like, oh, we're in profit. Like a kid shouldn't know that kind of like lingo. Probably watches them. It's so insane how kids like basically get like brainwashed, I guess. Like they don't realize they're doing it because it's so, the kids' brains are so like they get molded very easily. We're in profit, chat.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Absolutely disgusting to see that. And look, I spoke to an insider who worked on this website, Roblox Wild, before it got shut down. He shared data which claimed they made $5,000 a day, or roughly $2 million a year.
5,000 a day? Holy smokes.
Thankfully, this website got shut down.
And it's all from like kids that steal their parents' credit cards, dude.
But third-party gambling sites still persist because copying casinos makes a ton of money. And that's why we've been putting it into everything, including our politics. Prediction markets are the answer.
Yeah, that really popped off. A lot of streamers were joking about placing bets on who was going to win the election on Polymarket. That's how I kind of knew about it.
To the question of what if we could YOLO on election results and world events. The biggest websites are Polymarket and Callsheet, which have exploded in popularity during the American election cycle.
I think it first started back, they were joking about like when COVID restrictions were gonna lift. I think that was the first time I ever heard about Polymarket. It was like back in like 22, maybe 23.
But it isn't just major events that attract bettors. I was recently asked to investigate whether this was a suit that Zelensky was wearing.
Oh, the
Why?
betting.
Well, the prediction market had bet $200 million in betting volume on this bet. And some of them were really mad that they decided, no, this is not a suit, I guess.
I would call it a suit, but whatever.
Whether you think it is or not,
What
the
do I
volume
know?
of betting here is insane. And one reason for that is because these companies are exploiting loopholes that allow betting even in states where normal gambling is illegal. Because these companies say they're not a casino, so they don't fall under the same rules, which is why instead of having to be 21, you can now gamble at 18 on prediction markets. And while there have been legal challenges to this, both of the major companies, Callsheet and Polymarket, have recently brought on the president's son as an advisor, making it hard to see how they're gonna be meaningfully regulated. Meanwhile, all the major betting apps are busy launching their own prediction market copycats to get around the same weak rules that we still have regarding betting. And don't even get me started on the other loopholes that are out there. Have you ever heard of the TikTok of sports wagering?
This is Cheddar. We're building the TikTok of sports wagering.
What?
Legal in 20 more states than DraftKings.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Chat, have you ever heard about this?
Accessible for 18.
18 to 21-year-olds. Because in most states you have to be 21 to gamble. And now you're getting a massive influx of essentially teenagers, because 18 to 19 is teenagers still technically. But you're like technically a young adult. Dude, this is terrifying.
21-year-olds live in-game.
Oh, the college
micro-betting.
and the peer pressure. Like, yeah, start betting.
Swipe to predict every moment of every play.
Wait, it's like kind of like Tinder. Look at that. They were swiping left and right. Dude, this is terrifyingly evil, man.
I'm going to stop you right there. If you missed it, Cheddar is a new startup trying to combine DraftKings, TikTok, and Tinder features into
thought so.
one
The
app.
swiping really
and one of the
set me
things they
off.
brag about is they're
Yeah,
allowing
Tinder for
18 to
gambling.
21-year-olds as a competitive edge. Guys, can you believe the untapped market of teenagers for gambling? Now, to be fair, Cheddar has not launched yet, but this is obviously the future we're heading towards, turning
People are
everything
frothing
into
at
a
the mouth at this,
maximally
probably.
addictive gambling product.
It's sports wagering with the pace of a slot machine.
Yeah. Isn't that the most dystopian thing you've ever heard? We're trying to turn sports betting into slot machines. I mean, the funny thing is this whole product is built around yet another loophole called a sweepstakes casino, and that's how they get around the 21-year-old age requirement. Here's how it basically works. Sweepstakes casinos claim that you don't actually need to purchase anything to play, so it's kind of not gambling. In fact, you can get free
Kinda
coins
not.
to act.
Dude, the lawyer that must have written up this clause is probably like, yippee! I'm gonna make so much money!
Access their games, but they also have a second currency which you can buy. Well, not buy. You get it for free when you buy the worthless coins. For example, their website
Oh my god, no.
it says if you buy 100 cheddar coins, you get 5 bonus cheddar cash. And that's usually what you can gamble with and redeem for real money.
Oh my god, that's how they get around it, and they can advertise to kids. Well, not kids, but you know what I mean. Like, it's not technically illegal, but it is illegal. Chat, so let's say I open a quote-unquote a casino, right? And then you sub to my stream, right? You get a subscription to my stream. However, I give you a gaming or like a gambling currency in return for a percentage of the money that you get from subbing, and then you can use that, the cheddar coin or whatever it's called, to gambling at my casino. That's how they get around being able to advertise to it to younger people. You mean like our Smug points? No, not like our Smug points. I'm saying like I open a casino on a different website, and then you have to prove to me that you subbed to my thing or my Twitch stream or whatever, and then I give you the equivalent, and that's how they get around it. The pachinko loophole? Yeah, basically. Yeah, it's essentially kind of like pachinko, yeah.
This is actually how Stake US works. If you didn't know, Stake International is one of the world's largest casinos, but
And
they aren't
Ringbet,
allowed
yeah.
here in the United States. So they have an American arm, which is a sweepstakes casino, which has gold coins and
Wow.
stake cash. One Redditor explains how the loophole really works. Quote, 1 stake cash is 1 USD. They only use gold coins because they need to say that you aren't gambling with real money to stay open in the US.
That's so
Except, of course, you are
dumb.
actually gambling with real money. They just have a virtual currency workaround, which basically everyone has figured out.
So
Some casinos are
scummy.
just kind of more honest about it than others. Cheddar's basically saying the quiet
Cheddar.
part out loud. They're going after 18 to 21-year-olds with TikTok, Tinder, sports betting at the pace of
It's
slots.
ADHD gambling, and the worst part is like, look at the like entry fees and price pool, right? You're gambling like $1, so you feel like it's not a lot, and then you spend like 10 hours gambling, and you spent like $1,000, and you're like, oh shit, I didn't mean to spend that much. I just kept swiping. It's a psychological thing too. It's so fucked up.
And by the way, people are betting on their success. They're actually in a cohort of startups invested in by a Silicon Valley investment firm called A16Z. But if you think that's a bad idea, Now let's talk about banks and gambling. I recently made a video on Yotta, which was a fintech, which is a complicated story we've done a ton of work on here and here. But basically, the original pitch was a no-lose lottery, which gamified savings.
Yotta.
Lots of YouTubers worked with them, and they
this.
acted like a bank, at least at first, until they switched their new business model to be about allowing you to gamble
YouTubers did
inside
this
the app
too.
and lose money, essentially becoming a casino within what is essentially a bank account. Now, I should actually note that Yotta recently shut down the banking side and have fully focused on the sweepstakes casino part.
Well,
I
yeah,
guess it's
'cause
a
it makes
more
money.
profitable business, but it's a sign of the times that everyone is moving their app more towards gambling, and finance is going the same way.
Let's go
On
gambling.
August 19, 2025, the
dang
investing app
it.
Robinhood announced they are bringing sports betting prediction markets to their app. In the announcement, the vice president of Robinhood claimed sports betting was a, quote, no-brainer.
I remember when Robinhood like popped off when everybody lost their job and they wanted to like invest in the stock market because everyone's at home and they want to invest their stuff. And then the GameStop thing happened and then Robinhood really popped off as well. God, man, it feels like 10 years ago, but it's really only been 5. It's insane. And now Robinhood is doing this?
As we aim to make Robinhood a one-stop shop for all your investing and trading needs. AKA, we noticed people were leaving to other apps. We don't like that. We'd like you to never leave our app. Now, ironically, the very next day, FanDuel, a sports betting app, announced they were bringing stock market betting to their customers.
But I will ask you about what some call
Stock
the
market
gamification.
But the stock market is already gambling. How do you... Chad, am I fucking stupid? I thought stocks are technically kind of gambling, except it's obviously not, but like in another way, I guess it is. What?
Of markets. Why this move? Why FanDuel? Why now?
For us to have a partner like FanDuel and be able to have 14 million accounts on day one, I'm not becoming a casino, contrary to popular opinion. I didn't buy a casino. These are markets that will be offered to the general public, and we think is massively exciting of what it could do.
Yeah, it's massively exciting because it lines your fucking fat pockets, dude.
And you couldn't have a more perfect image of how finance is embracing the casinos and vice versa. Actually, correction, you can have a more perfect image because after I wrote this, the New York Stock Exchange's owner invested $2 billion into Polymarket. So actually, this is the perfect image of where we are. And a result is a lot of young people now see the stock market as kind of more like a betting market. The most popular group on Reddit is personal finance with about 21 million followers. In second place, Wall Street Bets.
Yeah, this was huge. Diamond hands, hold. This is crazy too. This popped off back then. Again, this has been around since 2012, but COVID set this off.
Where gambling on the
People
stock
went
market is
brazy with
embraced
it.
and celebrated. It grew the most during the meme stock craze of 2020, which shifted how some people thought about investing. Instead of being driven by earnings, prices, or fundamentals, people
I had a friend that had a husband that like did what is it called, the stock options or like day trading or something, and he did that before COVID. And I remember her talking about it like here and there, but then everybody found out that he was doing it like, you know, like for a living, right? And all the normies were like freaking out and asking for advice from her to talk to her husband. And she's like, I don't fucking know, man. Like it's kind of gambling, dude. Day trading's dangerous. Yes, that's what she always told me. She's like, you know, one day he'll manage to break profit, and then the other day he's gonna lose like $2,000. You know, you have to get lucky.
Gambled on
It's stressful.
attention and vibes. People are chasing bigger returns and taking on bigger risks to do so. One measure of this is the amount of debt people are taking out to invest. Margin debt is at an all-time high of
margin debt. In 1996, it was nothing, and now people are like, holy crap. That is not a good increase. And it's steady, too. It goes like, pew, pew. This is the stock market crash afterwards. Holy moly.
$1 trillion, which even on an inflation-adjusted basis is near all-time highs and up 5x
That's
over
still
the last few
insane.
decades. Not only that, the rapid growth of zero-day options by retail traders is also a telltale sign. It's grown 5x in volume over 5 years, showing that people are trying to gamble more. Zero-day options are the
and you're allowing them to take out loans to gamble.
Stock trader equivalent of red or black at the casino. Fast action, massive wins or losses on a single day. But if the stock market is America's casino, then meme coins are basically the back alley bookie who will break your legs. Bigger price swings, faster action. Meme coins are even more degenerate than meme stocks and pump and dump usually within a single day. Among the people who trade these, pump.fun is the leading destination as the one-click launchpad. Anyone can make a...
Dude, it's like McDonald's calling themselves like irritable bowel syndrome instead of like McDonald's, man. Oh my god.
Meme coin in seconds, and there is no value
like
in it.
How why would you ever like a pump? Like, yeah, obviously pump and dump, like it's too on the nose.
Other than the expectation that someone might be more foolish than you and buy at a higher price than you did. And of course, Pump.Fun is happy to take a cut and make most of the money. Most traders will lose, but now you can also get a cut if you're a content creator who pushes one of these coins. We've seen the same thing from launchpads like Meteora.
Yeah, because you have a larger audience as opposed to some random guy that's like, you know, hoping to God that you might fucking invest into this.
They allow creators to have a split of some of the trading fees, and it kind of democratizes the grift. Now, anyone can farm their followers and fans for money.
No way! Oh, look at my pump and dump right here. Look at this. Oh, it's Jack Doherty. He's doing a pump and dump.
You don't have to be particularly sophisticated. And that's actually how Trump made millions of dollars in fees with Trump meme coin without ever selling. He just farmed the fees. And to be clear, this money doesn't magically appear. It's being siphoned away from regular people who mostly lose. It creates a sad ecosystem where most creators are racing to the bottom for attention to get their audiences to pump their worthless coins, leading to a predictable spiral where most are scamming, rage baiting, or otherwise trying to shock each other into becoming the biggest grift of the day.
Hi. Cups got drained.
Thanks for the 20 fandos.
Oh, this is the little kid that made 30 grand and ran away. Yeah, this is infamous too.
It's ripping.
He made $30,000 in a pump and dump scheme, and he's like what, 10 or something?
If you've ever heard of a zero-sum game where someone has to win for the other one to lose, meme coins are negative sum because of all the trading fees. Most people, by definition, will lose. The real winner, of course, is Pump.Fun and people pushing it. According to one analysis, they've generated revenues of over $800 million for themselves, while almost none of the traders have made significant profits. According to one analysis, 0.4% of all traders will ever make over $10,000.
It's literally like a Ponzi scheme. It's kind of like OnlyFans and Fansly. People will convince you that you should just like, invest your time or your body or your money into this so that they can skim off the top of you.
So, almost no one. And look, the reason we're going through all of this is to explain the many ways that gambling is no longer just about slots, cards, brick and mortar casinos. We've injected it into every conceivable aspect of our lives. And that has two effects. One, it's inescapable. You cannot avoid gambling by avoiding Vegas anymore. No. It's literally everywhere.
Yep.
And then two,
it's in your phone. It's in your ads on Twitch. You can't run away from it at all.
It's also harder to understand and study because most researchers are studying like casinos, sports betting, but so much of gambling is not that anymore. So as we get to the numbers of this stuff, remember, everything's going to be an undercount. But it is still important to talk about those casinos, and that's where we're going to shift now. Starting with the biggest trend that has happened for these casinos, and number 2 on our reason, which is sports gambling becoming legalized. Rewind the clocks for a second back to 2018 when the Supreme Court overturned a federal ban. At the time, basically, you could only sports bet in...
It is crazy how this... 2018... I want to say, like, it became so normalized that, like, it's actually, like, a pastime for most men that I've heard of in, like, real life. Yeah, it's insane how it's pierced the normie sphere. It used to be just like, oh, sports betting is in Vegas, right? You know, because it's legalized, because, you know, gambling in Vegas is what it is. You have to go to Vegas to gamble. And now it's exploded everywhere.
Nevada. But after this, you can see in a few years, we've completely flipped on the issue. Most states now allow sports
what?
betting. And along with that,
that is like almost everybody. Oh my god, it's a majority. Holy crap.
The advertising budgets for these companies
the American pastime of gambling. Yeah, they're right next to baseball.
FanDuel, Underdog, Prize Picks. They've spent hundreds of millions of dollars getting celebrities and influencers to push their product every year, and man, has it worked. As I'm writing this, the #1 sports app on the App Store is not sports, it's not ESPN. ESPN and the NFL are second and third. The #1 sports app is actually DraftKings. And in the top 10, half of those apps are sports betting.
Yeah, Underdog Sports. Yes,
insane.
Dude. And they have so much money for like advertising because they make so much money off the top of gambling. Again, Stake created Kick, and Kick is not profitable at all. At all. Like, period. It does not make a lot of money. If anything, I think they're losing money every year. Trainwrecks has talked about it many, many times. But the thing is, they make so much money that they can afford to lose all that money because it doesn't matter. They're making it back through advertising.
2 reasons for this. Obviously, 1, hundreds of millions in advertising. But the second is what are called endorsements, which is when these apps will incentivize players to download them and place a bet. Sometimes literally offering what seems like free money.
They can afford to do that.
You just turned $5 into $150 and
we need to drop like home economics out of high school and middle school and replace it with like statistics or something. There's no fucking... Yeah, the first hit is free. It's exactly like that. It's free money. I'd be retarded not to take that. No, I absolutely believe that these people don't understand... These people do not understand how statistics work. They don't understand how fucking likely you are to lose that money that you invest. Or, sorry, I shouldn't say invest, gamble.
Bonus bets.
New customers bet $5, get $300 in bonus bets if you win.
New customers get risk-free bets up to $2,000.
Now look, the reason casinos do this is kind of obvious. If they can make you place 1 bet, they're more likely to place the second,
customer.
3rd, and 100th. But even...
It's literally heroin. They're giving heroin for free, and then you're addicted for life.
Setting aside the fine print of these weird offers, does it not strike anyone else as weird that we're allowing gambling companies to give away free stuff? Imagine the cigarette industry told you, you know, buy your first pack, get 50 free packs free to get you started.
I didn't even think about that. Like, what about alcohol? Imagine that.
Imagine Budweiser said, shotgun 1, they'll send you a case for fun. That's insane.
Amazing.
And yeah, that's exactly what these sports betting apps are doing. It's the lifeblood of how they get new players.
Come to stream for fun.
These apps will also cater to their biggest players, biggest losers, called VIPs. They will send them gifts as they spend their life savings. And there have been multiple lawsuits actually about this.
And
to make it worse, if you do the opposite and you actually win too much on these apps, they will try to limit your betting, as one investigation found.
If you show any real ability to effectively handicap a game and beat the sportsbook, they will...
The house always wins.
...limit your bets and essentially
kick you out of the sportsbook. You think you're allowed to win?
They will not let you win.
Yep.
Can you talk to me a little bit about how sportsbooks treat you once you start winning?
They don't want to accept your bets.
What are you going to do?
Yeah, it turns out that casinos actually hate the exact player that's featured in all of their advertisements. The guy who actually wins too much money.
Yes.
Which is actually so crooked when you think about it, that if you're one of the few people who achieves what they're promoting, they actually don't want you. Now, as I was writing this...
Well, yeah, you don't want a smart chatter to, like, you know, point out all your flaws. You gotta ban them. Yeah, you start going against me, chat? No, I'm kidding. I'm joking, by the way, just for the record. I mean, duh. I don't want a dissenting voice in my chat. You better watch your little mouth, you little rat.
story, another massive
Yeah, I'll
scandal
ban
actually
you.
broke in the sports betting
you
world,
worry.
which is even more corrupt than not allowing winners.
But as you now know, individuals such as Chauncey Billups, Damon Jones, and Terry Rozier were taken into custody today. Former, current NBA players and coaches. What you don't know is that this is an illegal gambling operation and sports rigging
that's not good.
operation
That's
that spanned
bad.
the course of years.
That's
That's
right.
bad.
The FBI just exposed a massive sports rigging scheme that was using these apps to win money on rigged basketball games. One example of this was March 23rd, 2023, when an NBA player, Terry Rozier, told a friend ahead of time that he was going to go out early on a foot injury. And so that night, $200,000 in bets were placed on his underperformance because no one else knew that he was injured. And a few minutes after Terry kind of limping around, he left the game and the bets paid off. A few days later, Terry Rozier and his friend allegedly counted the money at his house from the fraudulent wagering scheme. And this was one of several rigged games the FBI alleged, but the media was quick to point out this isn't even the first time someone was caught doing something like this.
Jonte Porter, who played for the Toronto Raptors, has already pled.
By the way, governors and people in legislation, and the most famous one is like Nancy Pelosi, where she like had insider info of like things happening, and she put a bunch of money in stocks or sold stocks and she made a bunch of money. Yeah, I don't have any faith in this ever stopping because people will abuse their power no matter what. NVIDIA and the CHIPS Act. I think the earliest one I can actually recall, I think it was Ronald Reagan's wife invested a bunch of money in the people that make helicopters back in the Vietnam War, and she invested an immense amount of money right before Ronald Reagan or whoever it was. I'm sorry, I'm really bad with this kind of like memorization stuff. She was the wife of the president, and she invested a bunch of money into a helicopter making business right before he announced the Vietnam War, and then the stock skyrocketed. And was it LBJ, not Reagan? Yeah, I apologize. Whoever it was, I'm sorry. It's so obvious that they did that, but nobody really cared, and they didn't take away their money. They just made a bunch of money. It doesn't matter because they just have insider information that nobody else has. You mean like posters should put stocks before passing bills? Yes, exactly. Insider info.
Guilty. He's already pled guilty. He's awaiting sentencing for doing just what Rozier and Jones are accused of. So this train has already left the station, Laura. And I have to tell you, when Jeff Teague, an NBA player, says, oh, there's betting everywhere, it is everywhere. I've done ads for DraftKings. LeBron James has done ads for DraftKings.
You've done it?
In fact, ESPN, when they were reporting this story this morning,
bit.
they're having programming, people talking just like you and me, talking about this scandal on the press conference the FBI was giving. And underneath them on the ticker was an ad for ESPN Bet, which is ESPN's own sportsbook.
Yeah, the irony of all of this is that the same people who condemn illegal betting going on are simultaneously pushing the sports books, which create the opportunity. And at some point, the producers on ESPN actually noticed it. And see if you can spot the moment they try to fix the sportsbook ad in the corner.
You hear a lot about legal sports gambling on this show. The Bussin' Boys, obviously sports gambling is a huge part of what you do, so we put those all out there as a preamble because it might be in the back of people's minds, and we acknowledge that this is a different time and place. However, there is a fine line, not so fine, there is a bold line that obviously has to be drawn.
Well, that's a little awkward. You're actually supposed to remove the ad for sports betting before talking about sports rigging. And honestly, we've only
whoopsies!
Hit the tip of the iceberg here because we've since learned these professional leagues are useless at catching this stuff. Turns out the NBA already investigated Terry Rozier before the FBI indictment for that exact game, and they cleared him because the NBA commissioner said there was insufficient evidence.
Ultimately concluded that there was insufficient evidence.
We investigated ourselves and found no wrongdoing. The absolute classic, chat.
Despite
that
aberrational behavior to move forward.
Right. So even with aberrational activity, they had the right game, the right guy, and the NBA couldn't find enough evidence. I mean, the more money that goes into sports betting, the more this will be a problem. And the leagues are clearly not equipped to handle it. But people just look the other way because the money's too good. And I want to now address the size of these betting markets because they're absolutely enormous in ways most people don't understand. And to get our heads around it, we're going to look at some survey numbers. One study estimates that 22% of all Americans and almost half of men my age have an online sports betting account. Another estimates that
Chad, do you have a sports betting account or are you normal? Like, be honest. Why is it a problem when people give away their money? It becomes a moral dilemma. No, I wish I did. No, I have stocks. Oh, okay. I was thinking about it many times. Thomas, don't do it! I'm not a normie. I guess it's more of a normie quote-unquote thing to do, huh? No, two of my friends do 22, by the way. Yeah, I think it's more of like, again, I don't like using the word normie, but like, I think people gamble in their own way. If I ask the same question about gambling waifus on Azur Lane or Genshin Impact, I bet a lot of people would say, yes, I do gamble. Yeah, on Zenless Zone Zero or whatever.
1 in 4 people have placed a bet on sports, and 1 in 5 have placed a bet in the last year. Like with all surveys, there's margins of error here, but the data mostly agrees. Sports betting is very widespread and extremely popular among young men. And for the ones who get addicted, it's financially devastating. One recent study looked at Americans' finances before and after sports betting was legalized by their state. They found that bankruptcy rates rise approximately 10% after legalization. Another paper
10% on a population is actually insane. Do people do not understand how big of a difference that is? That's so sad. That means that people instantly are like, oh shit, I gotta go sell my mortgage to the bank. Oh damn, I could make my money back if I just win one more parlay.
Looked at financial stability, noting that for households that do bet, they spend on average about $720 a year sports betting. And the study found that for every dollar someone deposits for betting, there's a reduction in net investments of just under $1. As people gamble more, they invest less, which means their financial future is worse. Makes sense. But this is especially true of problem gamblers or gambling addicts. To be clear, this is not something that affects all gamblers. Roughly 1% of the world population suffers from this. It's more common among people who bet regularly and bet online, two of the things that sports gambling encourages.
Well, yeah, because you don't have to walk to a casino or whatever to, like, you know, go gamble. That's the big difference. I think it's just, it's such an ease of access thing.
Problem gambling completely obliterates people's finances and affects more than just the gambler, because as they beg, borrow, or steal to continue their addiction, they affect everyone around them. And I do mean steal. Roughly half of gambling addicts will commit a crime.
Did you guys see that advertisement back in the day of like a dad stealing stealing a TV and then selling it, and then his kid catches him? And he's like, Daddy, what are you doing? And he's like, I gotta bet one more time, Timmy. I can get you a better TV. Like, I remember seeing that a long time ago. That stuck with me. That fucked me up. I was like, Dad, are you gonna do that? He's like, I don't even like gambling. The fuck?
So those crimes are to continue gambling.
PS2. Yeah, I think that was it, wasn't it?
The addict doesn't see a way out. It is sad, isn't it? Which is why problem gambling has one of the highest suicide rates of any substance addictions.
Well, yeah, because you lose your, not only do you lose your ability to provide, it's usually like you're forsaking everyone else's, like, I think the most common one is like people who have like a family, they get into gambling. It's definitely like a thing that preys on you, because it's like, oh, I have so much money, I need to provide for my family, and then they think they can provide for their family through gambling, which is never true.
Full stop.
I don't get it. You know none of this matters, right?
Yeah. Whoa, pessimist. Shut up,
you
Clanker.
You tried this before with Roobet, CS2, and it did nothing.
Yep.
No, literally, I mean nothing. Absolute silence. All the moralizing, the anti-gambling. You're wasting your time.
I mean, the Clanker's kind of right.
Let me tell you a story A year ago, I was offered $20,000 to do a video by casino. Now, I said no and made a whole series about it, but what I didn't tell you is that later I was offered $1 million to cover my legal fees in an ongoing case. Now, this was offered by a person who said they wanted to remain anonymous, no strings attached, very nice person. They said they wanted to just help out. Sounds great. But then I found out the money was coming from a sports betting company. They were one of the top people, and that's obviously...
Well, who the fuck else is gonna offer you $1 million? I get emails all the time being like, you could make $50,000 if you just advertise gambling to your audience. And I'm like, hell no.
For me, I am publicly against gambling, and here this person's kind of privately telling me, well, gambling can pretty much solve all my problems. Pay my legal fees.
True.
You know, they're telling me, oh, their company's regulated. It's fine. It's above board.
Yeah,
ultimately,
you're not gonna hit any problems.
Thank you for the offer, but you know, in my head, there's no such thing as $1 million, no strings attached. And you know, obviously, I also can't take $1 million from a sports betting company and then go make a video criticizing sports betting. But it gave me pause and kind of gave me an aha moment that I was missing before, where I started to understand exactly how screwed we are. And this goes into our third reason gambling is winning. The casual way these casinos can throw around life-changing money for any normal person is why the data will never fix this. It's why having enough sad facts about addicts or interviewing people whose lives were ruined will not change things. Believe me, I've done it, and it's never moved the needle. To be honest, it's not even debatable that gambling is kind of bad for most people and life-destroying for a few. Even the industry kind of admits that, but the reason gambling is everywhere in spite of that is there is too much money in the game benefiting the people that make the final decisions, right? Think about the states with tax revenue, the casino profits, the influencer payouts. There's a small group that gambling is incredible for. So incredible, it basically defies logic. I'm talking billions of dollars in profits. And if you want to understand why gambling is everywhere, you can't just look at the statistics. You have to look at the money. And I want to show you exactly how this works with an example. This is Matthew. He's better known online as Nadeshot, and recently he took a gambling deal with an offshore crypto casino. And when he first talks about the deal, I want you to notice it's a little strange. He almost seems hesitant.
Boys, we just partnered with Rootbet, and before I say anything, don't gamble, okay?
Buddy! What?
You will lose. I promise you, you're gonna lose. But that's why I partnered with Rootbet.
This food's gonna give you cancer, but I'm gonna partner with this cancer-inducing food.
So they can pay me to gamble. So even when I lose, I'm still gonna lose.
Yeah, it's pretty weird to hear someone say—
No, it's not. That's a lie. They give you a certain amount of money to lose. It's not your money.
Say, don't gamble, guys, while announcing a partnership with a gambling company. Nadeshot implies that he may lose money, but in fact, he later admits that it's the most money he's ever been paid.
This is the biggest partnership that I've had in my entire career.
Whoa.
No, instead, I think the hesitancy, the weirdness of this video is because Nadeshot knows pushing gambling is kind of bad for people. He said so in a podcast a couple years ago.
I definitely think that people streaming on Twitch, all the crypto betting, certainly incentivizes younger kids to be more interested in crypto gambling. Like, I know personally people that should not have been gambling online, but because it's so easy to gamble with crypto, they did it.
I knew a lot of friends that would gamble back in, like, I want to say, like, 2016, and they were not adults yet. And they would go and gamble on CSGO loot crates. They would spend their Christmas money to try and gamble like a good skin or a good gun.
When they could not afford to do it, and it has not worked out well for them.
Yeah.
Right. Nadeshot knows personally it's bad. But
Doesn't
for
matter.
the reason why he's doing it anyways, just fast forward 2 minutes in the podcast and we find out
so
because the
much
host
money.
asks, a hypothetical. What if someone offered Nadeshot $100 million to promote gambling? And well, let's just say his tone changed.
I ain't turning down $100 million, bro. You got me fucked up, brother. I'll go on there and I will crypto gamble 24/7, dude. At that point, man, it's the parents' fault. Hey, I'm just working over here. You're gonna pay me more than LeBron? Brother, I would be lighting up, cash on fire, gambling crypto. I would sell my
money
soul
does to a
for 100
person,
Ms.
man.
Are you fucking kidding me, dude?
We should clip this. We should send this over.
Okay. I won't sleep. I will be your workhorse. You want me to pump blue chews and crypto gambling? I will do it all. You got me fucked up.
Uh-huh.
Them kids, dude. Fuck them kids.
Look,
Holy moly,
you
chat.
can say he's wrong for saying that. He's a bad person for saying that. But the reality is, this is why gambling is winning. The casinos have so much money, they are buying people's souls. Even people who kind of admit gambling's kind of bad. Put enough money on the table. And
well, it doesn't matter if he puts food on the table for his kids and he can put shades on inside.
Shot says, hey, fuck them kids. And by the way, speaking of fucking them kids, let's talk about Drake.
W's in the shot.
It isn't just streamers or influencers taking deals. It's the biggest rapper on the planet.
Celebrities have gone crazy. I got an ad on Twitch on incognito mode because I wasn't logged in or anything, right? It was an ad with not The Rock, the other guy, whatever. It doesn't matter. It was basically like a massive celebrity, and it was like back to back, like, yeah, just start betting. Yeah, just start betting. You all, I got a good deal on this. Look at that. I'm gonna start gambling. You get it was John Cena, Terry Crews. I think it was Vin Diesel. I'm not sure.
He signed a reported $100 million deal recently with Stake, the crypto casino, which is wild. There's really no endorsement deals like that anywhere else that hit those kind of numbers. And just like Nate Shot, Drake wants you to know that, even though he's taking the money, gambling isn't for everyone. Recently, he posted an $8 million loss, saying, gotta share the other side of gambling. Now, maybe some of you think that's brave, but to me, I see that and go, Drake, that is the only side of gambling for most people. If any normal person lost $8 million, their life is over and their legs are broken. You're the only one with another side to this whole thing. Where, to be clear, that other side is reportedly getting paid $100 million.
So much money, man.
Like, it's a lot of people taking these deals. I'm not trying to single anyone out. You know, let's also take Kevin Hart, right?
Oh,
one
yeah,
of the world's
Kevin Hart,
smallest
that was a big
comedians.
one, too.
He pushes DraftKings. And this one I find really bizarre.
Asmongold said, I'm pretty sure he went on record and said that back in like 2018, he got an offer for like 6 digits to advertise just on his stream. Yep.
Do me a favor, man. Go to the DraftKings app. Look at what I'm betting on. Look at why I'm betting on. Place your bets. All the action is here.
bets.
DraftKings.
That's right.
Kevin Hart.
I'm not even going to ask why Kevin needs you to get on DraftKings and bet. Like, the fact is he's worth a reported $450 million. But the real thing I find so gross about this is that Kevin Hart has gone on podcasts and talked about the need for financial literacy. You know, he talked about this on Joe Rogan.
The biggest problem within our community is knowledge. We don't know. Debt is welcomed because it's celebrated. That's all we know. The knowledge isn't given. So it's not till you obtain that knowledge and understanding that you go, oh, this is why you put money up. This is how you increase versus decrease. Oh, this is how you earn.
Oh, yeah, because it doesn't affect them. He's already aware. All his rich friends know that gambling's bad. It's that he's trying to say there's an education problem. Also, I'm pretty sure this is a really old episode too. I don't think this was before he got the gambling ad or the gambling deal.
Earn on your money.
Yeah, he's
right.
Wow. Absolutely.
I can gain
he's absolutely
wealth by
right.
investing in what? The stock world is what? How many people partake in the stock world? And is there a part that isn't necessarily gambling? Is there a low risk part?
Nope.
The information isn't there.
Yeah, Kev, maybe the information isn't there on the stock market part, which isn't gambling, because you're too busy telling them about actual gambling. Understand that Kevin Hart is not just a guy who sometimes talks about it on podcasts either. he has a whole partnership, an actual partnership with Chase Bank, where they ran a campaign to improve financial literacy. But then Kevin goes on the side and he's pushing DraftKings, which preys on people's financial illiteracy. And while we're talking about small comedians...
Don't hate the player, hate the game. I'm kidding. I mean, I don't know. It's like you selling out your morals for money. I don't know.
with big bank accounts. Let's talk about Joe Rogan too. And listen, I'm not trying to be high and mighty with all this stuff. I know it sounds a bit like that, but believe me, I am eye level with these guys.
Sure.
Okay, I'm very
That's
short
fair.
too. You can't
You're
tell
allowed to
behind
criticize
$10 million
them.
studio desk, but no offenses intended here. We got to discuss though how the biggest comedians in the world, biggest, smallest comedians, are pushing DraftKings. Didn't Joe get
because they have a massive male audience and it's easy to monetize them, and he has a massive platform.
$250 million deal from Spotify? I didn't realize before this video, like, how many gambling ads he has been running recently. In the month of September alone, there were 11 DraftKings ads.
Wow.
In 14 videos. And with Joe especially, it's weird because he's the guy who rants against big pharma's manipulative advertising.
If you can advertise, you can manipulate people and change their opinion based on theatrics.
So many...
Everyone gets a free bet.
We all want to win. Hey, let's win together.
You know, you have music.
Is that
and people
Jamie Lee
dancing
Fox?
and
Holy
holding
shit.
hands and spinning around in a wheat field. Like, that is so manipulative. And we are subject to manipulation. And when it's something that is so important, like making critical health decisions, there's so many of these commercials. Like, so many times I'm watching television, I'm like, how many goddamn drug commercials are there?
By the way, I agree with him. We are being manipulated. But change a few words from that rant, and you could say the exact same thing about how gambling is pushed.
Well, at the end of the day, I mean, honestly, it's just capitalism, man. There's no regulations. There's not enough regulations. People can just do whatever they want. They don't get fined. And then the legislators who lobby or create these laws go against it. They overturned a ban in 2018. He said it in the video, and then everybody started making it legal. Yeah, it is what it is.
Casinos are also manipulative. They don't advertise the actual reality where people lose. Instead, they say things like winning, cashing in, opportunity. And Joe Rogan's a part of that.
Every game is another chance to cash in. Don't just watch the action. Win with it. Every snap is loaded with opportunity.
Every snap
That
is
is just as
loaded.
manipulative as pharma ads pushing pills that may end up addicting you. In both cases, the collateral damage
It's all
are
bad.
the addicts we created along the way. And I guess I have to ask, maybe people think, oh, one's worse than the other. Is there that much of a difference between a drug addict and a gambling addict?
No.
No, really, I'm asking.
It's like
No, because you're preying upon the center in your brain that's linked to a predisposition of getting addicted. I think that I have a predisposition to, like, probably, like, gaming addiction. I'm not gonna lie. I used to do it a lot, but I don't have any other addictions. I don't have, like, a vice. I learned to control myself, obviously, but some people lack the control or they spiral. Yeah, your pleasure reward system gets overrun. Some people are more susceptible to it than others. You also have an addiction to, like, alcohol, drugs, sex. Yeah.
If you see the drug addict, you see him, he's shooting up or whatever it is, and you see him fainting, you go, oh, that poor bastard. But when you see a guy who's fully in the grips of gambling, trying to figure out how to get his money back, and he's all jazzed up with adrenaline, he doesn't understand why.
It's just like cocaine. It's just like drug abuse.
Yep.
It's just like the opiate problem.
True.
It's just like anything else.
Yeah, it's a pleasure thing.
You and I both know people who have...
I think the most fucked up about gambling, honestly, is that these people think that they can, like... Because a person who does drugs, for example, they're not doing drugs to, like, get out of, you know, crippling debt or something. These people unironically think that if they gamble $2,000, they're gonna get that massive $20,000 hit and then pay off their debt or their car or whatever. But they don't realize what they're doing until it's too late, and then they always have to keep gambling to keep making back that same profit, and then they're always in the hole even if they don't realize it. Oh, I made $20,000, but I already spent $80,000, so I'm only actually $60,000 in the hole. Like, that's what's fucked up about it. They're chasing losses, exactly.
Lost their lives gambling. Okay, you've seen people in pool halls. You see how they get, Joe Rogan. There's no difference in the drug addict and the gambling addict. Not at all.
No, not really. No, I agree.
So there is no difference. Then why do we shake our head at the Sackler family and pharmaceutical execs who push pills that ruin people's lives?
I don't.
But somehow nobody
I hate
cares.
them all.
We're doing a very similar thing with gambling.
Same with my
At
chat.
every level of society, we are shoving this down people's throats. And it's not that I mind if people gamble individually, but we are pushing it on people who otherwise would not have done it, because everything is gambling now, from sports to entertainment to investing. It is totally...
Well, everybody also has the access on their phone and their computer, and it's really easy to get that. I've brought this up before, but back in the day, you could only gamble in Vegas. Now it's on your phone.
Inescapable, and we're moving the casino from Vegas directly into people's pockets, connecting to their bank accounts. I don't know exactly how this is going to end, but it doesn't take a genius to see where it's going to lead. Gambling is going to be a much larger problem for people, and especially young men. And the saddest part is there's no amount of data or facts that I can give you that's going to stop
There are women that gamble. There was that really famous police, what is it called, like body cam footage of the woman that's like, I finished my shift at work, and then she locked her child into what is it called, into the car, and then went and gambled for like 6 hours. Pre-watched. What does he talk about it?
There's just too much money at stake.
What do you mean pre-watched? I didn't do nothing. The kid died, I think. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, really sad. I feel like in the podcasting space, there's a decent amount of regulation in our reads, and I try to remember to advise our listeners that gambling may not be the right for them, but I do often forget to do that, to be honest. Theo Vaughn. I know that guy. I couldn't do it in good conscience. I don't know. I think it's kind of fucked up. But then at the end of the day, like, some people would argue and be like, I get it. I need to get that bag. So they just do it anyway.
Hey, come back to the bar and let me fix you a drink. The weather isn't changing anytime soon.
You know, all it would take is basic advertising rules or legislative change to put a stop to half of this stuff.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Money makes the world move, Coffee.
True.
The people who write the rules like them just the way they are.
Do you really think it's worth all of this, though? Like, just for a little more money?
Hey, you said it yourself, didn't you?
People
it's
love
not just
money.
a little money. It's a lot more money.
True.
People would sell their soul for $100
right.
million. Well, imagine what they do for billions.
Ooh.
You know, maybe it is time for that drink.
You're gonna tip this time, right?
The clanker wants a tip! And you're a clanker! This guy, man. This guy. Damn, dude. That was a good video, though. Hell no, I ain't tipping no clanker. The fuck? I ain't tipping Flippy for flipping a burger. Fuck that guy. That's right. That was a really good video. That got me yapping. That was really fun. Did you guys enjoy that? Give him a shot of oil? Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That's asking for a lot. That was such a good video. Go check it out. Coffeezilla is amazing. Love that. Love that guy. Very, very good video. Really gets your noggin jogging. Like, what's the toting the line? Like, when do you stop having so much money that you need to take sponsorships? or you don't take Gamba sponsorships, because it feels like these people have immense amounts of money, but it doesn't matter. Like, they want more money. They want millions and billions of dollars. They want to be multimillionaires.